Hello everybody, I am Spectre and welcome to a Warframe video. Now video is very interesting as it is actually a video which I recorded well, I only just acquired my Ash Prime and I also acquired my War, and I was trying to level them up, so I decided to do Titan on Saturn, which is actually as far as I know, it's one of the best places for actually farming experience. I don't know if there's probably better ones, but this is the one that actually did it for me, so this is the one that I stayed for. However, in this particular group that I joined, I was joined by an Ivara. So we had an Ivara, a Valkyrie, a Necros. I think we had a Necros Prime, a regular Valkyrie, and Ivara, and me as an Ash Prime. I was only level 26, maybe 16 when the match actually first started. However, you will notice that we are just pretty much kind of like, at this point in the game, it's actually just pure chaos. It's actually like there's no way of telling what's happening half the time, and you can actually just see me just desperately trying to shoot, and every time, like, we were at this point in the game, enemies were really powerful. The Leech Eximus enemies were actually draining our energy completely. One of my teammates was deploying a large energy supplies, which were very useful. It replenished my energy, and as soon as my energy was replenished, I would just go to town with Bladestorm. This is the first time I actually used Bladestorm since Ash was reworked, and so basically what changes Bladestorm, what the changes on Bladestorm is basically Ash now requires a line of sight to use his Bladestorm to mark his targets, and each target marked costs energy. So I don't know if his actual power costs. I think his actual power costs less, but at the same time, like, each enemy will cost us like a specific amount of energy. I think the default is like 10 energy or something. Obviously, you can reduce that with Streamline and Fleeting Expertise. And I actually equipped my Volt with a Fleeting Expertise to begin with, and a Streamline, so I can use my powers as often as possible. It greatly reduced the amount of time I stay invisible in my smoke screen, but I decided to build Ash as an assassin because that's pretty much what his intention is. He's built as an assassin, so I focused on reducing my energy so I can use my Bladestorm as often as possible. You can actually see here, I'm just spamming my Bladestorm whenever I see it's possible. Whenever I see a good group of enemies in a clear line of sight, I will just spam my Bladestorm. Right now I'm just checking for for what's going on. I was checking like, how's everyone doing? I noticed that I was doing the most damage at the moment. It came to a point where enemies are so powerful. I think about about 40 minutes into the game, and enemies were so strong that my allies weren't able to do any damage at all. It was just me, and well, actually, it literally befell to me. You can actually see here, it was like a big brief moment, the Ivara's cloaking invisibility barrier or something just basically for a short time just disappeared, which is really bad. It kind of like, it was a bit of a jump scare because, like, the enemies can see us now, and at this level they can pretty much nail us down to like instantly. But yeah, this was a very good spot that we found. We found a very decent spot where we can actually haul ass and just stay put. And you can see me still. I literally, whenever I had energy, I didn't stop using Bladestorm. I just kept using it and using it and using it, and it really worked. Yeah, it was just a combination of Bladestorm and Vaker Heck, my shotgun. Just Vaker Heck combined with its Justice really helped a lot. And by the end of the whole game, I actually had the highest damage. I don't know if anybody was lower level than me, like because like I said, I started out with my Ash Prime was like, I think, rank 16, and you can see him now at this point. He became 21. By the end of the game, I maxed him out. He became maxed out. Here I'm trying to combine my, I'm basically experimenting with my smoke screen. I'm trying to see if I can use smoke screen, stun them, and then use my melee in order to insta-kill them, similar to how Excalibur uses his third power to stun enemies, and then you can insta-kill them. I don't know if that actually is a thing with Ash's smokescreen, but I was trying it either way. It seemed to be doing decent damage. I don't know if that was my war or if it was actually the smokescreen and plus the me doing some good damage on that point. But at this moment, I was just... You can actually see just how hectic it is. Like I said, this is actually the last 15 minutes that we did. I couldn't record for more. I didn't know we were going to stay this long. I did see the Ivara. I didn't see, like, it was obvious that people were willing, and if you actually check the map, you'll actually see that the only person to actually leave this globe, to leave the invisibility globe, is Valkyr. She would go into her hysteria, go into the life support capsules and into life support and just activate them so we can whenever it was running low. And literally Valkyr was the only Warframe, whenever she had energy, was the only Warframe to actually be able to leave the bubble at that point, because if we left, we would be dead on the spot. And obviously a lot of us went down, mostly due to the napalm enemies. Whenever a napalm shoots his flame on basically surfaces, it stays there for a little bit, and obviously that will, you know, it will, at that difficulty, at this level, like, it will kill you, like, it will drop you on the spot. Right now, I believe enemies are like, I think they're like 90 level. Yeah, you can actually see they're 98 maybe. They reach a level of 107 by the end of the game, and I'm surprised that my Vaker Hack at that point actually still does a very decent amount of damage. Obviously it struggles killing Eximus enemies, but at the same time it actually quite helps. Here I tried to help somebody by going to the side, but I noticed that, you know, enemies were doing AoE damage, so I got downed. Even though I did level up and my energy, you can actually see my energy just completely being drained and then being refilled by my allies who are actually like using life capsules. I think whoever was using those life capsules was actually using them for me. Because he knew I was an Ash Prime, and he knew that I would go to town with Bladestorm, because, you know, that's the only way that you actually would be doing any damage right now. So I think he was supplying me with energy. Plus, I'm pretty sure he was also supplying Necros energy for his Desecrate, so that we can keep getting energies and health orbs from the ground, as well as a continuous amount of credits. And I also think that he also, if it was Ivara, then, you know, obviously we want Ivara to be always maxed out of energy, especially with all the Leech Eximuses, because we want her power, her invisibility to be like, to last for as long as possible, because, you know, we were basically, it was a very interesting game, because this is actually the furthest I've ever actually gone to. I have actually never gone for an hour exactly. I have gone to like maybe 50 to 54, maybe about 54 I'd say top, with Inerus, and I think it was, who was it? I think it was Neza and Loki. We were a 3-man group, and we actually made it at least to like, we actually did, we made it at least until 54 minutes before we were like, we could do no damage, and we were being just absolutely wrecked. You can see me here. I'm using my my focus power. I'm using Naramon so that I can confuse some enemies. Obviously, my Naramon has not been upgraded, so it's not really that powerful. So I just did it because I had it. It's a waste to not use it when you're in this kind of a hectic situation. You really want to use every mean that you can, and you can actually see that. Whoever was placing those supply pods, you'll see a lot of supply pods, health supply pods, well, not supply pods, health supply restores, energy restores. Like, we were trying to counter. Obviously, right now, if we had a Trinity, this would be like very, very good. We would have had, it would have sorted our energy at least. And but yeah, what I was doing right now, my tactics were, well, like I said, my tactics is just Vaker Hack, a lot of Vaker Hack, and just well, spamming Bladestorm whenever it was available. I did notice at some point that my Vigor Hack was doing very decent damage. It was dropping enemies almost instantly as soon as they went up close to me. So the closer I am, they get full blast of my Vigor's bullets. So I deal a ton of damage and I can drop most enemies on the spot. My Bladestorm, it actually became weaker and weaker as the game progressed. Enemies were becoming so strong, it required at least 3 times that I needed to Bladestorm them at least 3 times before they actually take damage. So it was at this point into the game, we were like 57 minutes long, and I was considering like, okay, so do I ask these guys, should we extract? Well, we are doing pretty good, we're still alive, and we have this really good point, but at the same time, it came to a point like my Ash Prime isn't that modded because, like I said, he was only 16 rank when we first started this level. So I had no idea we'd be going on for this long. So obviously my Ash Prime was lacking a lot of mods, especially for his damage, for his Bladestorm. If I had him modded, if I was ranked 30 plus, I had all my mods and stuff to increase my Bladestorm's power, we actually could have survived. I could have done a lot more damage. I'm pretty sure we could have done a lot better. Of course, it came to the point where everybody realized that they were really, like, literally doing no damage at all. And nobody was able to do any damage because when you go for the longer you stay, the more enemies become tougher, the more damage they do, the more health they have, the more resistances they have, and for a well, unless you have a weapon that deals puncture damage like Vigor Hack, like the weapon I'm using, against the Grenier, who are armored enemies, you won't be doing really much damage. Like if you're using, I think one of them was using Soma Prime. At this point, he probably was doing maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 points of damage because armored enemies do get an enormous boost in resistance to slash damage. So the only way to actually break their armor and have them take more damage is by doing puncture. Plus my Vigor Hack does a very decent amount of damage, and the puncturing also, if I do a puncture status effect, obviously that weakens their armor and penetrates their armor, allowing me to deal damage. You can actually see here against this Eximus target, like I couldn't target him. I tried to teleport to him in order to activate a stun so I can insta-kill him, but he jumped away from me before I could actually do that. I still don't know exactly what, I think when you mark a target and you keep marking him, you can actually mark him up to 3 times. I don't know what that does. Does it actually increase the amount of damage you do? Does it increase the amount of time you will Bladestorm that target? I'm not exactly sure about that. Like I said, this is the first time I actually I used Bladestorm for the first time at this point here. At this point we were like all down, like all 3 of us were down. Only one of us was actually still up. Now I don't know who was actually, I couldn't tell. Oh yeah, it was our Valkyrie. Okay, she actually just crouched and just tried to like revive us. Thankfully, we were all revived at a certain point. Well, obviously, there were too many people to revive, too many enemies to actually notice. So I wasn't able to be revived in time. But still, I'm actually quite surprised they were able to revive. You know, like the 2 characters before. You know, well, everything like this, you know, with all of this just happening, like all the enemies are just, you can actually see in the map, enemies are just everywhere. They spawn faster than we can actually kill them. And so right now, basically, one of the people was like, yeah, at this point, he was doing 0 damage, so yeah, he wanted to evacuate, and I was like, I wanted to say that, you know, I was right behind him, and we actually started evacuating because literally, like, we were literally doing no damage. So here, this is where I was typing. I stopped the type and I was about to mention to the team that yeah, I really wanted to extract 2. An hour-long survival is just enough. But yeah, at this point I was just struggling, trying to find a way to escape and just running. Obviously I was using my smoke screen to become invisible. It didn't last that long because, like I said, I didn't add a lot of dilation to it. But yeah, this is it. This is where we actually survived. So yeah, this was the end of the video. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.